Hi, you're on the Alice Reddit Stories channel. Subscribe to my channel as well as my Facebook page. There we can chat. The link is in the description of the video. Thank you. Enjoy watching. Story 1. How can I, 22F, make my husband, 37M, understand it was a marriage of convenience, that I really love him? We got married almost 4 years ago because it was the only way for me to be safe. My father was an abusive and extremely conservative man. He raised me by himself and made my childhood a nightmare. He was sick in the head, he was very religious, he was interested in a religion and culture that were not even ours, and that made him change completely. He didn't want me to have any kind of relationship with boys. That's why I was homeschooled. But when I was almost 19, I tried to escape from home, and when he realized he did horrible things to me, that's when I met my now husband. He is a lawyer and he was our neighbor. So he tried to help me, and thanks to him I was able to go to college and have a safe place to live. But that didn't last long, because soon my father found out where I lived, and he and his friends, who practiced the same religion as him, began to threaten my husband and me. And being honest, the laws in my country are useless. All I could do was get a restraining order, but every time he violated that order, nobody did anything. Not even the police, but what could they do? My father has really important friends, and thanks to their power, they always saved him. So I ended up getting married so I could move to my husband's country and be safe. In all these years he never took advantage of me. He always treated me as if he were my tutor. He always encouraged me to go to college and get a good job so that I could be independent. And in a certain way now I am. I'll turn 23 this month. I graduated and I have a very well-paid job that I got myself, a job with which I could rent an apartment and finally move out of his house. But I don't want to do that. I want to be his wife, I mean his real wife. And he knows it, because a few days ago we had sex for the first time and I told him I loved him, but he said that is not true, that I'm really young and that I only say that I love him because he helped me in the past and because he was the first man I slept with. But that's not true. I thank him for everything he did for me, but I didn't fall in love with him because of that. I love him because in these years I got to know him better and I fell in love with everything about him. He is the sweetest, kindest, funniest, smartest and beautiful man I have ever met. Talked a lot about it, and he told me that he loves me too, but that nothing will ever happen between us because of our ages, that it was best to forget what happened. But I don't want that. How can I let him know that I really love him and that I want to try to make this marriage really work? Update: some of you messaged me to post an update and I thought it was the right time to do so. So here I am. After my post, my husband, 38M, and I, 23F, talked a lot about our future. He told me to move out and try to live my life without him so that I could experience being independent for once, but I didn't want to. I told him that I was happy with the life I had with him, and that I wanted our marriage to work. So after long talks, we literally spent weeks talking about it. He's not very easy to convince, haha. We decided to give it a try, and it worked really well. I started going to therapy, because I knew I had a few wounds from the past that needed to heal, and it was the best decision I made in my whole life. So thanks to everyone who told me I should go to therapy. It was the best advice I read. A few months after making the decision to make our marriage work, I got pregnant, and therapy was what helped me the most at that time, because to be honest, when I found out, it was not a happy moment. I was scared of being a horrible parent like mine. And if it hadn't been for therapy, I don't know if I would have understood that I am not them, and that my daughter will be safe with me and her dad because we both love her and we will protect her from everything we can. Also, quarantine made everything easier because we spent the whole day together, and it was definitely a great help in making our relationship stronger. I really liked spending those months alone, the two of us, because despite the little arguments, not everything is perfect as it seems. I've fallen in love with him even more, and I'm 100% sure that I want to spend the rest of my life with him. And I know I don't love him for what he did for me in the past. I'll always be grateful for that, but I don't love him for that. I love him because he is always trying to make me laugh with silly jokes, because he is the sweetest and kindest man I have ever met. I love him because he is selfless, and because he always listens to me even when I know he had a long and exhausting day. He is always there for me. But what makes me love him the most is seeing him so excited for our baby, knowing that soon we will be a family, the family I always dreamed of, melts my heart. So things are definitely better now, and I couldn't ask for someone better to spend the rest of my life with. Don't forget to support my channel by subscribing, thank you. Story 2. OP doesn't want to have sex anymore, nor lose/hurt her husband. I, 29F, am married to a man who we shall call John, 30. I saw other posts on here of others in a similar spot, and I have done a few things over the last year or so, have been to doctors, therapists, asked around online about solutions, but my sex drive is just flat dead. Nothing brings it back. Nobody has had answers, yet. I am in perfect shape, so is he. I haven't lost love or physical attraction, no body dysmorphia, hormonal levels are fine, I am not on hormonal BC, I don't take any other medications. I tried stupid online bullshit and snake oil, but I think deep down I knew that stuff was never going to work. We have been together for 7 years, married 3. We are happy, we have a home and good careers, 3 wonderful dogs, and our families get along. But I just cannot stomach the idea of ever having sex again. It makes my skin crawl thinking about it. I have either been making excuses to put it off or just grinning and bearing it when he was clearly just riled up and I didn't have the heart to look him in the eye and say ew. I literally have a cry the next time I am alone. I was his first, he wasn't my first, I taught him how to be my lover. Everything was fine for over 5 years, John is considerate, takes his time, made sure we both had fun and felt satisfied. I feel so awful even considering talking to him about it. Before last year, we had done it nearly every day. Over the last year my sex drive has slowly died. I think that I just do not want to have sex ever again. Is that so odd? Why is that so wrong? How do I approach this with John? I plan to sit him down on our next day off together, which is in 5 days. I have that long to decide what to do. I can't do this to him or myself any longer than that. Is it right for me to unilaterally cut that part of our relationship out? I do not think so, but everyone says that I shouldn't be forced to do it just to keep my marriage, which sounds like crap based on the other posts here. I know sex is important. I don't know what to do next. He has been completely in the dark on this because I'm scared of divorce. I don't want him to think I don't love him or think he's unattractive. I'm scared to hurt my best friend. I don't want him to resent me or to feel trapped. Update: I decided to talk to him sooner rather than later and took a few days off from work to sort this out. I think he might have left me over the lying to him for a year part. I am mostly just venting, but if you have thoughts, by all means. I do not think there is anything I can do alone to fix this. John was not angry at first, but made it clear that he would not support being in a sexless marriage. He was also a bit annoyed that I asked if he would be okay sleeping with others. He is one of those super honest and holds to his values quite strongly, which is one of the many things I respect about him. There was a lot of emotions. He walked around the neighborhood a few times, would come back in and ask questions, then leave again. He goes on walks to clear his head. This is not strange. He was angry after I told him how long I had kept this to myself, and to be clear, he asked for a timeline. I told him about the doctors, snake oil, and the therapy. I knew he was going to be mad, but John was red and absolutely fucking silent. I've only seen genuinely mad once before, and it quite literally paralyzed me to have him look at me that way. John has never, and will never hurt me, but he never made me feel small or vulnerable. His size always made me feel safe, but in that moment I felt different. He just walked away, got his laptop bag and said he was going to a friend's house. I have a feeling I know which one, but I did not have a chance to ask. I have not heard back from him since he left 2 days ago. I called and texted, but he didn't answer me directly. Instead, I got a call from his older sister. She asked me to just leave him be and let him work stuff out for the moment. At least I know he's somewhere safe. She asked me what I did to upset him so much and I, foolishly, told her the truth. That went just swell. I completely needed my ass chewed, because that can only help, right? Sarcasm, in case that's not obvious. At this point, I just want him to come home. He has been the perfect partner and I just want him to talk to me. He doesn't deserve this. I should have never kept anything to myself. We have a king-sized fucking bed that I am sleeping in alone. The dogs are clearly confused, sleeping by the door, because I am the only one feeding and walking them instead of both of us.my plan, assuming he goes along with it, is suggesting couples therapy. That's all I got. Update: John has decided to leave. Divorce proceedings are already messy because John challenged our prenup in court and it was found to be unconscionable by the judge because I had violated it by telling him to basically cheat if he ever wants sex again. I had no idea he had even hired a lawyer, so I showed up alone and unprepared. Why isn't anyone in this whole thing seeing that I am miserable and don't want him to leave at all? I do not understand why having sex is such a big deal for him. We did so many other things together and just because I don't want to do one of them anymore, it's all over. Whatever happened to consent? Now we have to fight over the house, dogs, and he is even going after business assets. We could have had an easy split, but he has decided to be petty instead. My only option to protect the business that I started during college is to use lawyers he could never afford. Our entire life has turned to shit, and I am struggling to find out why I am having to suffer for this. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, there are a lot of interesting stories ahead of you.